The Denver Nuggets are simply playing on another level than the rest of the NBA right now. This team is 51 and 21 with 10 games left in the regular season. And keep in mind, last year they won the NBA championship and went 53 and 29 in the regular season. Since the All-Star break, the Nuggets have decided to kick it into high gear. I tried to tell y'all they were coasting the full year. Jokic, he's just out here doing his 9 to 5. He's ready to get back and ride his horses. But now that the All-Star break is over, it's time to lock in. The Nuggets are an NBA best 15 and 2 since the All-Star break this year. Some other numbers here for you. They are 14th in points per game, which is kind of shocking, but they play at the 27th best pace, so they are a slower, older type team, even though a lot of these guys are still in their primes. However, their offensive rating is 6th. Defensively, they give up the 7th most points per game, even though they do play at a slow pace, which is a bit concerning, but they have a top 10 defensive rating and the number 5 overall net rating, which is pretty solid. And like I said, this Denver Nuggets team is just playing at a different level right now. I think they're still the best team in the league. Matchup wise, I think they can take the Boston Celtics. You look at the head to head this year. The Nuggets won both of the head-to-head games in the matchup this year. So, that obviously bodes well for the NBA Finals if they do get to play the Celtics, because, of course, the Celtics could decide to lose to the Heat once again. The only two losses the Nuggets have suffered since the deadline was a 2-point loss to Dallas and then a loss to Phoenix by 10. This team is clicking on all cylinders except for Reggie Jackson, who's starting to fade fast. They do have a few injuries, though. Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr. all on the injury report. So going into the playoffs, the entire lineup on the injury report is not good. But, this team, led by who probably should be, at this point, a 3-time MVP, maybe even 4-time. But unfortunately, he won't get it this year, I don't think. I think it's going to go to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. However, Jokic is very deserving of this award. And we talk about Jokic. He needs to start coming up in the all-time centers conversation. The man is 28 years old, right in the middle of his prime. And he wins one more Finals MVP. Say he wins the Finals MVP this year. He is one behind Shaq for the all-time lead. Right now, he needs one more to go into second place with a few other guys in terms of Finals MVPs. As for regular season MVPs, he's got a little ways. Kareem has 6. Bill Russell has 5. Wilt Chamberlain has 4. And then there's another guy. Then there's Nikola Jokic, who is sitting at number 5. But like I said, he probably could have got the MVP last year, and he probably could get it this year. It's going to come down to him and Shai, and I think Shai will probably end up getting it because he's averaging way more points. But Nikola Jokic does the non-flashy things. 26 points per game is fantastic for a center, especially on 58% shooting from the field, 36% from 3 on 3 attempts at 7 foot, however much he weighs. He also averages 12.3 rebounds, 9 assists, 1.3 steals, and 1 block per game. So he does it on the defensive end of the ball as well as on the offensive side of the ball. His assist to turnover ratio is 3-1, and for a center, that's pretty good. He'll probably lock it in and get it even better once the playoffs come around, and he's only playing 34 minutes. Shai, some of these other guys like Embiid, they'd probably be playing 36, 37 minutes a game. No, Jokic only has to play 34 because, like I said, this team is on cruise control. Jamal Murray plays 32 minutes a game. Michael Porter Jr. plays 31. Aaron Gordon plays 31. KCP plays 31. They are on cruise control. They do not care. They know they're the best team in the NBA right now, and they know that nobody else can mess with them, and so they are cruising on their way to the playoffs. Speaking of that supporting cast, which I think is one of the best in the NBA, it starts with Jamal Murray. 21 points a game, 6.7 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 steal, and he is the ultimate closer. When it comes down to it in the playoffs, when you need a bucket, yes, you have the NBA MVP, but I think Jamal Murray is still the closer for this team. Yes, they take turns, kind of 1A, 1B. We'll give Jokic 1A, but Jamal Murray 1B, and he can be that closer whenever you really need him to. On the season, he's shooting at 48% from the field, 42% from 3 on 5.6 attempts, and this man is still 26 years old. People forget that, but at 26 years old, yes, he missed the 2 seasons with his ACL, but he's been in the league for a minute. The fact that he's only 26 is kind of crazy. Him and Jokic still at the beginning of their primes is the scary part. And then you got Michael Porter Jr. averaging 17 points a game, 7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, probably a career high there, over 1 assist, absolute insanity. 49% from the field, 41% from 3 on 7 attempts. And to shoot it that high from the 3 ball on the kind of attempts that he takes is crazy. Michael Porter Jr. He's a stud, and he's 25 as well, and he's had a couple of years off, so his body is really like age 23. Jamal Murray, his body really is like age 24 because they missed those 2 seasons with injury. Aaron Gordon's still only 28. I mean, this team is still really, really young, and people don't talk about it enough. They still have all their draft picks. The salary cap is not looking great, but I think they're going to be able to keep their core around for a while. Gordon averages about 14 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, close to a steal and a block per game. We talked about he only plays 31 minutes a night. And another thing about all these guys, they've been able to stay healthy. Reggie Jackson's played in every single game at age 33. KCP is another one of the older guys here. And then after that, KCP does a lot for this team. Both of those guys average about 10 a game, but KCP also shoots at 40% from 3-on-4 attempts and averages 1.4 steals, one of their better defenders. And then you look down this roster, Christian Braun, 22 years old, Peyton Watson, 21 years old, Julian Strawther, 21 years old, Colin Gillespie, 24 years old, Jalen Pickett, 24. Those are their young guys that they're going to rely on to take up a lot of those bench minutes over the next few years. DeAndre Jordan is the outlier, of course, at 35, and then they get some spot minutes occasionally from Justin Holiday, who's appeared in 48 games and plays about 15 minutes in those games. And hey, he's shooting at 42% from 3 on 2.2 attempts per game. Probably didn't know that, but now you do. As for Christian Braun and Peyton Watson, I want to focus on them here for a second because they have really taken some steps forward. Christian Braun is now, he was supposed to be that 6th man, and Reggie Jackson took the role, but he has kind of helped. They have combined Peyton Watson and Christian Braun to take up the scoring role that Bruce Brown had, while Peyton Watson probably does most of the defensive work he had. Watson is averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, an assist, and a block per game in 18 minutes per 36. That is really good. That's 14, about 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks. I mean, that's really good minutes off the bench. Christian Braun, 7.2 points, 3.6 rebounds, 1.4 assists per game, 47% from the field, 37% from 3-on-2 attempts. Peyton Watson still hasn't come into his own from behind the 3-point line. It's still only 30% there, which isn't great. And Julian Strawther really hasn't been able to catch his rhythm. He's appeared in 42 games where he plays about 12.4 minutes a game, but he's still averaging 5 points because he has that flame-throwing ability where he can come in and knock down the 3-ball. I'm not sure if we'll get any Colin Gillespie or Jalen Pickett minutes as the playoffs loom near, but just know that this Denver Nuggets team is the best team in the NBA. They've been coasting all year, and then they decided to flip it on after the trade deadline. And, I mean, that shows you 15-2 after the deadline. They've beat the Celtics twice in the last 2 months, who are the other consensus best team in the NBA. I think the Nuggets have no trouble getting out of the West with the Thunder being their only competition and they're being young. And then I think they beat the Celtics again in the finals. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy today's video. Thank you so much for watching.